First of all, in case you don't know much about our NGO Voice for Prisoners, just let me explain that our NGO tries to help stop people going into prison. And if they do go to prison, we try to help them prove their innocence if they're not guilty, and to get as minimum sentence as possible if they are guilty, and to help them in prison with study and other things. We do also a lot of publicity to warn people about the danger, especially of getting caught up in drug trafficking, through which a lot of people go into prison. I visit the prisons once or twice a week. In the past week, I've been in Halingjiao and in Thailand. I've seen many women from Indonesia and the Philippines. And what we're trying to do today is spread the message about the danger of getting caught in drug business. You can see our posters here. You might have seen before. This one is warning people from the Philippines, and this one people from Indonesia. And one of the main problems is that people here in Hong Kong are still getting caught up in the trick of collecting and delivering parcels, as well as other scams. Just by chance here in the Dr. Jesus meeting room here in Temple Street, where we are, there's a young lady here from Indonesia, Wati, and she's out on bail at the moment. She spent, how long were you in detention, Wati?
About almost 6 months.
6 months in detention, and she's a domestic helper here in Hong Kong, but she got tricked online to meet up with a guy, a Western guy, and he made contact with her, and then he got her to go to his home, and in his home he introduced her to drugs, which she'd never tried in her whole life. This happened a few times, and the last time it happened, she got very, very sick, and she almost died. And she got to hospital in time, but in the hospital, she was arrested for using drugs, and he was arrested for possessing it. But she's out on bail now, and her charge is a very small one compared with the guys, and she's hoping to be freed from the charge when she next goes to court. But her case is a sad one of someone being tricked, introduced to drugs when they didn't really want it. So maybe, Wati, could you just say a few words in English, probably because a lot of Filipinos here, just about your experience, anything you'd say, and especially to warn other people about being careful of being befriended on the internet, on Facebook, on that.
Right. Maybe we need to be aware and be careful what we are friend with, or you need to know that person very well, and don't trust them very easily. So in my past, I have friends that influence, in a bad influence, that bring me to this situation. So please be aware and be careful and not to trust people easily.
What was it like being in prison for 5 or 6 months?
Actually, it's not easy, but it's not easy being a part of the with family, and it's sad.
So you're one of the many domestic workers in Hong Kong who've spent time in prison in Hong Kong. The prisons here are pretty good compared with other countries, but it's still, you're locked up. What was the food like?
The food is actually 3 times a day. The food is okay. I have medication as well. In Hong Kong, they treat you nice also in prison, but of course, being a part of the with family is not. It's not easy. And you can call once a month to call the family. You can only, when you want to call your friend, you can only call, let them to welfare knows, and then they will help you to call.
Did you have any visitors when you were in prison?
At the beginning, no, but then after I have one visit, include Father John.
How many minutes did they get to visit you?
15 minutes a
15.
day.
That's through the glass and went through the window and with a phone.
Yes.
Right.
Only through the glass you cannot really
Right.
say.
So you came to Hong Kong as a domestic worker. How long did you work in Hong Kong as a domestic worker?
This year and this time I've almost 8 years with the same family. But I've been here 2004 and then leave Hong Kong around 2011, and then back in 2015 until now.
So you were a domestic worker here for a long time, but you still sadly got tricked by this guy.
Yes, again, like also friends influence is also very important. We have to be careful who we are friends with, and we need to be aware.
How did you meet up with this guy? Did he contact you through Facebook, or how did he?
We met through mobile apps like Tinder or something like that.
How did he get your number? Or?
We speak in the website, and then we exchange the number.
Website. What was the website? Is it
Tinder,
convenient to say?
Tinder, kind of Tinder, something like Tinder.
What was it called?
Tinder, something. Tinder.
Tinder. Right. Do many domestic workers use that?
Yes, a lot of them. Actually, they just want to be friends or just want.
And do you know of any other people who've been caught up like this through Tinder or any other social media?
They have some, but they just trick and.
And were there any other Indonesians in prison when you were there?
Yes, so many.
Many. Wow.
They trick also by sending parcel, or like when they want to go home to Indonesia, and then in the airport, like I need to give it to this family, something like this, but inside is drugs.
So at the airport, somebody told them, or asked them, could you please take this for my family?
Yeah, for family. And it's also from her friend, and she didn't know what is inside, and then she's in the jail now. Wow. Few of them, so many, and also there's one in Causeway Bay. It contains green beans. They ask them to help to pick up the parcel.
So it's a green bin.
Yes, there's green bean and something like from Indonesia, because normally they send the family through there's Indonesian like you can take the stuff from there, then you pay.
It's like an agency or a company.
Kind of company. Yes, the company. It's
right.
few of them in Causeway Bay. It's inside is drugs actually. So
wow.
Now she's in Lowu. I think she's fighting her case. So
the bottom line is, don't take anybody for anything for anybody. And even if you think you're safe by checking a bag, you might not be able to see the hidden compartment. Yes, they're very clever. They make a hidden section which you can't open and check, and the drugs are in there. Inside. Wow. So
you have to be careful now, and who you contact with, and self-awareness is
and you've been very kindly visiting other prisoners, especially Indonesian and Filipinos, yes, while you've been on bail. Yes. What's it like visiting people in prison?
I'm so happy to visit them, because I know how they feel when they don't have someone who don't have visit inside, and it's happy feeling.
Some of them no visitor.
No visitor. Like yesterday, I visit one is convicted, almost 4 months in Thailand, but the family didn't know. Then I just sent her the brother message yesterday. When I was there, she's crying the whole time, and I say, I cannot talk to you when you cry. And she says, I'm so happy, I'm just so blessed, and she didn't even ask for anything, like. Yeah. So it's very happy.
It's really sad when people have come here to be domestic workers and they finish up in prison. can I just stay there? But also in the group of people we've got out on bail at the moment, there's a lady from the Philippines, and her story also is very sad. Um, she was she finished her contract, and she became an asylum seeker, which is a dangerous thing these days anyhow. And then some local guy made friends with her in a park in Yuen Long or somewhere out that way. And then one morning, suddenly he asked her to go to a hotel to collect a parcel. And being a simple, trusting Filipina, she, okay, I'll go. There was no money reward, no payment, nothing, no talk of money. It was just helping a friend. But when she got there and collected the parcel, she was immediately arrested because the parcel had drugs in it. So again, it's the old story. Don't ever collect anything for anybody, even a trusted friend, because sometimes the friends are being used by not so good people. Have you heard of cases like that, just like that?
Yes, actually, so many, so many cases. The Indonesian that I met is almost the same like that. They collecting the parcel, helping her friend, sending things to the family, and but she didn't know this inside is drugs. So please be careful.
In Thailand prison 2 days ago, I met some women also. They had become asylum seekers, and they were given the job of taking a parcel from, I think it was from Yuen Long Way to Top One. One lady did it 5 times. Each time she got $100 or $200. She thought it was just an ordinary delivery type job. But then the fifth time she was arrested, and inside the parcel were 3 kilos of cocaine. And there's another lady, I think we both know her. She's from Indonesia. Um, she was staying at Chungking Mansion, which is a very dangerous place to stay at or even visit. And she went down to the Filipino canteen there to buy something. She'd been before, and because they sell Indonesian food there and it's cheap. And the lady in charge, another a Filipina, said, "Oh, look, I've got to go out for a minute. If somebody comes, could you please give them this parcel? A little packet, was it?"
Packet in something in the cup.
It was in a cup.
Yes, in the cup. Like
So
something like that.
again, being a trusting Filipina, when this guy came, he was a local Chinese guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So when he came, she just said, "Oh, this is for you." And then as soon as she did that, she was arrested. And police came. It was a setup, a trap, just like a rat being caught in a trap. And they do this to trap people. It's a terrible thing that happens. So again, you wouldn't expect that. It's just a Filipina working in a shop. So could you give this to the guy coming in? It means you've got to be so careful. It means you've got to be almost, you don't trust anybody. It's a terrible thing to say, but nowadays you've got to be so careful. Even the simplest situation could be a trap.
Yes. Also, there's when we there's I met the Indonesian as well, the one in Costa Rica. They're sitting down on the park and with some other Indonesian and sitting down there, and then the lady like bring the shopping, and then can I put it here for 5 minutes because I just tidy up my tidy up my stuff, so because he have so many shopping, and then suddenly okay, it's okay, no problem, because we're Indonesia. It's the same. So she asked her, you, can I sit down for a little bit here? Okay, you can sit down. But she left something there, and then they have actually drug inside, and then the police came.
So again, it was a trap,
Yes,
a setup.
yes.
Wow. So this means,
In
wow, in
Victoria.
Victoria Park, where all the girls are sitting around having a meal. And this lady just came and said, "Oh, could I leave this here for a minute?" And being trusting Indonesians, of course, but it was a trap. So again, wow, this is very sad. So that's the last thing you'd expect. Someone would be an Indonesian woman would be setting up other Indonesian women, or a Filipino would be setting up others. It's really, really sad, but it means you've got to be so careful, so careful. Um, and if you're sentenced, you could be in prison for a long time, and then you get deported. You can't stay in Hong Kong. Once you've been arrested, even if you're not guilty, you're not allowed to stay in Hong Kong. It means you can't continue working here. You have to go somewhere else to look for a job. Very, very sad. Have you met any other cases of Indonesians that would be good to talk about?
Indonesian also, they have they live out with the family. They're working with the Western, and they live out with some other Indonesian. They have boarding house, and there's her friends. She have two friends who stay there, and then her friends, the other friends came. She bring the stuff as well, and this friend is not actually a friend of another friend. So she came, she bring the stuff, and then that night, after she finished work around 8:30, and then there's a police or CID came to check the lady, and there's a drug as well.
Wow.
This is
Well, look, Wati,
so
thank you. Look,
scary.
stay there. I'll just go through a few points here that might help people avoid these traps. And then if anybody's got any questions for Wati, you can ask them there. There's a few points here that might help people. Number one, we recommend you educate yourself to learn about the risks and consequences associated with drug trafficking. Understand the penalties, long penalties here in Hong Kong, the health hazard, and the impact it can have on your life and the life of others in your family. So education is the first point. And then another one is surround yourself with positive influences. Choose your friends and acquaintances wisely. Be careful of people who might not be good friends. Associate with people who have a positive lifestyle. Stay away from people who might be involved in illegal activities. So if any of your friends are caught up in illegal working, or especially on their day off, or doing illegal stuff, best to avoid people like that. Another one, be aware of your surroundings. Stay vigilant, observant of your environment, as in the park, and avoid places known for drug trafficking or high crime rates, like Wan Chai or Chungking Mansion. And especially be careful when you're traveling to unfamiliar areas, and check the local laws and regulations beforehand. I'm sure the consulate has already mentioned a lot of these things, but it's good to think about them again. Number four, say no to peer pressure. Develop the ability to say no to friends or acquaintances who might pressure you to getting involved in drug-related activities. This is a big problem. Be very, very careful of anybody who might try to pressure you to do something. And just before I forget it, that there's another case I must just mention too. I met an Indonesian woman recently, and she's working as a domestic helper in Hong Kong, but it turned out her employers, the husband and the wife, were using drugs in their home, and she didn't know about this until after she'd been there quite a while. And then at one stage they started putting some drugs in her room just to leave it there. And then the police came and arrested all three of them. And she's been arrested for drug trafficking or possession, even though she did nothing. She was just in her employer's home. So I would suggest, if you happen to be in that unusual situation and you find out your employer is using drugs, contact the consulate immediately. Tell the consulate what's going on. They'll give you the best advice on what to do. Number five here, avoid drugs yourself. Don't start experimenting with illicit drugs or substances, because it can lead to all sorts of desperation. You need money, and then that can lead on to other things. So be very, very careful of getting involved in anything to do with drugs. And if any friend invites you to use drugs, you could try to say no. Would have been very difficult for you when you went to your friend's home. You had no idea he might introduce you to drugs. Is that right, Wati?
Yes, actually, because also he pursued me to use it, and it's hard to say
So
no.
when you're in his home and he was sort of a semi-boyfriend, whatever. If when he's offered you drugs, I guess it would have been pretty difficult to say, "Excuse me, I got to go now."
It's hard because I'm there. I'm in his house, and then
You're in his house. You're staying
oh,
overnight.
yeah.
Hey, then he introduced you to drugs. So pretty hard to say, "Excuse me, I've got to go home at 1 o'clock in the morning." Wow. So you have to be, very careful to accept an invitation to go to somebody's home. That is extra dangerous, right?
Mm.
Okay. Look, a few more points here. Another one. Be careful of your belongings. Secure them. Be careful about who has access to your belongings. Don't let anybody touch your bag or your luggage, especially when you're traveling. Even when you're traveling around Hong Kong, keep an eye on your bag and your belongings. Don't let anybody, in case they put something in your bag and set you up. And also, next one, report suspicious activities. If you suspect drug trafficking or any illegal activities, tell the appropriate authorities. Maybe the best people to tell is your consulate, first of all, because sometimes not so easy to report to the police. And your information could help prevent others from falling into dangerous situations and help assist in maintaining a safer community. Number 8 here, be wary of easy money offers. Sometimes people offer you quick money to do a job or do something. Be slow to believe anybody who wants to give you money for a quick job, easy money, especially if they're involved in transporting or handling packages or unknown items. It's too good to be true, and it's probably not true. So be very, very careful. Number 9, stay informed. Keep updated on current drug trends, trafficking methods, warning signs. Knowing what's going on can help identify potential risks and help you avoid getting into trouble. Keep up with the news. Keep up with the news that's supplied by the consulate and the latest tricks that people are using to set up domestic workers. Number 10, get help. If you or someone you know is struggling with drug abuse, try to get help from professional support group or helplines. They can give you the best advice and resources on how to overcome it. Because if your friend or someone is into drugs, that raises the danger of needing money to keep going. Try to help them get out of drugs. And remember, all these steps are meant to help you make informed decisions and stay clear of illegal activities. It's important to prioritize your well-being and the well-being of those around you. That's all the points. Okay. I hope those sorts of points can help people. Wati, anything else you'd like to say before maybe we invite people to ask you any questions?
Actually, just stay firm, and just say no to if they ask you or ask you to help her.
Okay.
Suspicious.
Okay. Well, Flora, any questions for Wati now? Can you how do we do it?
Veronica mentioned a very right sort of vigilant careful online. That that's very true. Don't trust strangers. Only met by online and send presents for you. And Tinder, Badoo, Meet Me, and Skulk. These are some kind of gaming apps.
Okay.
As well.
Anybody like to ask Wati any questions, because she's a victim here and she's out on bail. She's visiting other people in detention. She's met a lot of Indonesian and Filipinos in detention who've been tricked or set up.
All the 10 points are really good pointers, and do stay updated with Voice of Prisoners as well, because we have the latest trend to update, and we always keep the news updated just to keep the community informed of what's the latest trend, the drug trafficking cases. Then like, these will definitely help, and we'll continue to have outreach with different NGO partners to deliver these kind of messages. So stay tuned and yeah, keep up to date with our news as well on the Voice of Prisoners.
Wati, can I ask you, you've met a lot of people in prison who've been tricked, but are there others outside who've been tricked or into drugs, but they haven't been arrested yet? Is this very widespread in Hong Kong, very common?
Yes, it's actually it's very common like that. Uh,
Liz asked, do you know what drugs are being offered to you?
What drugs were you using? Did the guy offer you?
I remember he smoked. He had a smoke.
So that would be marijuana or something. Weed, isn't it?
Like he says there it's like the bottle, and they have pipe like that.
Maybe ice, like it has the bonder where they need to boil it in order to inhale it.
Yeah, I remember have so many things when they found in the picture they have so many.
Yeah, so basically they mix in different types of drugs as well. Maybe.
And I know it's on the pipes they have pink color and white.
Yeah, so it's going to be like ice, and they have to boil it and vaporize it before they inhale it.
Yeah, I remember there's smoking. He was there last year, and then try this one. It's very nice.
But then the fourth time he also got you to use a tablet, is that right?
Yes, the last one that I filmed.
Do you know what type of tablet it was?
No, really, it's I say, what is this? Just try this. It's very good.
Right. And that made you very sick and you went into a coma.
Yes, I actually had I don't know what there's very strong alcohol that is made before we start before.
Oh, so before he got you to start using drugs, he got you to have quite a bit of alcohol. Ooh.
So it's a big combination of alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, so that's a dangerous combination, alcohol and drugs.
And the drugs is not even pure, like it's probably a few different type of drugs mixed together.
So this is something also to be careful of if people offer you free alcohol. It's a way of making you weaker in your decision and easier to exploit you. Be careful of people taking you for free drinks and that they want to get you drunk and then they can do whatever they like. Yeah.
There's another question from Supre Hatin. Sorry that you suffer. Oh, what I can do if someone sends something or gift to use my boss address home from other countries, and what is the benefits impact when police come and accuse me?
Yeah, well, this has happened quite a bit in Hong Kong. I know a number of domestic helpers in prison for this. Somebody sent a parcel to their employer's home to them and there's one case of two Filipinos I know a few years ago, one after the other, the same thing, befriended by the same Nigerian guy. And he said, oh, he and his wife were busy. They were expecting a parcel from Nigeria for Christmas for their son. Would it be okay to send it to the domestic workers' address? And both of them said yes. And as soon as the parcel arrived, the domestic helper signed for it, and the delivery was from a company, but from customs. And the first one was arrested. I remember it was September 27, about 3 or 4 years ago. And then that woman was in Thailand prison, and she met another Filipina who was arrested on December 27, 3 months later. Same thing. A guy asked her to accept a parcel at her employer's address. And then when they compared notes, it turned out it was the same guy. When the first one was arrested, they found a second one. So this is what you're saying, or the question there. It means that if anybody asks you to allow someone to send a parcel to your employer's address, sorry. And if such a parcel does arrive, definitely do not sign for it, because as soon as you sign for it, you're responsible and you'll be arrested. So you just say, sorry, this is a mistake. I didn't agree to this. This is not my idea. Wrong address. My name has nothing to do with me. Sorry. just don't sign for anything like that. Would you say that?
Yes, it's because we have to responsible what we did, even just a sign it's a bit, have a big impact on us. So it's very careful.
Any other questions?
For Nick to mention, sorry that you suffer that situation, but can you elaborate how you come out on this kind of situation after you discover this drug scheme? This one, I think I can briefly mention. Wati did mention that she got into a coma after taking the drugs, and that's how she got arrested in the hospital. She didn't know until what had happened to her to attack the body. That's correct. And then, Anik, thank you for sharing your story. I learned a lot from your story. Thank you so much. And then there's Earthel, a love scam in her IG account. There's a man that his profile is a Chinese executive, and he made friends requests, and they made an audio call. His voice sounds like an African young man because she listened in the background. It's like a group of men. So basically, she knew it was a scam, and she told him to stop right away. So I think you're very smart. Just stop it right away. Nowadays, we actually got a lot of scam calls, WhatsApp messages. If you don't know the number, just block it. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, it's certainly true. And I think everybody's aware now that some of these scams are very, very clever. They can even record the voice of a friend and build up a database and then compose a message to you using your friend's voice.
Oh, the new AI, right?
Using AI, yeah. And I even heard a story yesterday of someone who was receiving a message and was contacting somebody, and then halfway through the conversation, the voice changed. Someone actually tapped into a live conversation.
It's actually someone got hacked in the email conversation. So the hackers, if they hacked into your computer, they basically have all your information. They can reply your emails and just continue with the conversation that you're having with someone else. So it's very dangerous. And also one reminder about AI that Father John mentioned is a very good point, because the AI is getting so advanced now that anyone can use any photograph of, let's say, a handsome guy and then put it onto themselves and actually make a video out of it. So you may think you are speaking or FaceTiming with that handsome guy, but in fact, he's not the person. So we have to make sure that you see the real person. And yeah, because a lot of times drug syndicates, they use what they call romance scam to actually get you into drug trafficking. So let's say if you meet a new guy who takes you out for dinners, who buys you sweet gifts, and try to sweet talk you into a relationship, just stay very alert, because once you get to trust them, they may ask you to bring stuff for them. And you may just think, oh, I'm just helping my boyfriend. But that boyfriend can be the same person who tricked you. And we see that a lot in prison. So ladies, be careful. We all have a soft heart. We all need love, and that's true. But please be very careful.
One other point I'd like to make also, not directly related to drugs, but it's involving a lot of domestic workers now, and that is the fact that many domestic workers, when they are out of contract or terminated, or even before then, they decide to become asylum seekers in Hong Kong. They apply to be an asylum seeker. And it's very, very dangerous, because if you become an asylum seeker, there's not much government assistance, you're not allowed to work, big danger of getting into illegal jobs, and it's a dead end. If somebody says, oh, become an asylum seeker and you can work illegally and get more money for your family, don't believe them, it's a trap. I was on Hailing Island a few days ago, and there's about 50 or 60 Indonesian women, about 30 Filipinos, all asylum seekers, now being sent back to their own countries and have been in detention a long time. It's a real trap to think that we can become an asylum way of staying longer in Hong Kong or earning money. And there's even some bad people now going around advising people on how to apply to be an asylum seeker. They're charging maybe $500 or more dollars. Oh, we can take you to Kowloon Bay to the immigration and help you apply to be an asylum seeker. But it's a dead end. To become an asylum seeker is a terrible situation here in Hong Kong. So please be careful of that trap also.
Father John, you did mention that out of how many cases, only 6 got approved for as asylum seeker. Remember last time you asked us about maybe there were 180 cases, only 6 who got.
Yes, very few asylum seeker applications are successful. And they don't become proper refugees, and they're just in no man or no woman's land. It's very, very dangerous to become an asylum seeker in Hong Kong. Okay, look, there's a couple of handsome guys here in the room with us. I won't mention their names. They're from different countries and elderly guys, and they also were tricked online to go to one place and bring stuff to Hong Kong. So they trick everybody, young people, old people. Just got to be really, really careful about anything online or social media. I hope this does a bit of good. Probably the people who are taking part are less likely to be trapped, but maybe you know some of your friends who are more vulnerable. So if you could share this message with anybody who's possibly going to be trapped into any of these situations, that would be good. If we can stop even one person from being tricked and trapped and going to prison, it makes it all worthwhile. So God bless everybody and stay safe, and let's help each other to stay safe, okay?
Yeah.